Hey everyone, before this video gets started, I just need to mention two things. One, before you start this video, there will be spoilers for the main story of this game. I'm going to upload this edit in the middle of uploading the rest of the series, so if you guys have not finished it, do not watch this. However, this review will be at the end of the Assassin's Creed Shadows playlist that I made with all the episodes in chronological order. So, other than that, the only other thing I wanted to say was that there was a main story, a modern story in this game. It wasn't as much as the previous games, and I might have missed something here and there. I don't know. Based on my experience with the game, though, there wasn't a lot of modern day storytelling like with Abstergo and the Animus and all that. The only time really you get to experience any of that is during the part where you're learning about the assassin that came over from Spain or wherever he was that brought the Brotherhood into Japan, and you're walking around as the guide, whoever that is, and you're like playing these little clip memories in the Animus loading part. But other than that, I'm not really bothered the game didn't have a modern day story. I kind of liked that it just mainly focused on what was actually going on. Again, I don't know if there was more. There might have been, but for me, there wasn't. So, yeah, other than that, that's all I have to say. Hopefully you guys enjoy watching this. If you are watching this, thank you. And here's my review of Assassin's Creed Shadows. Hey everyone, I hope all is well, and welcome to my review of Assassin's Creed Shadows. I want to get this started off by saying, obviously there was a lot of controversy that came out before this game based on both the main characters of this game. First and foremost, what I want to get out of the way is that I truly, wholeheartedly believe that the two characters in this game are perfectly fine. I've seen people's complaints. I don't even want to say there's a bit of understanding, but I try to see both sides when it comes to certain things. Me personally, when I break it down, when I play a game, I don't really give a damn who the character is, because the game is supposed to teach you who the character is, and it's supposed to develop the character in a way that makes you invested into them. And both characters in this game I was invested in. I wouldn't say I was as invested into them as other characters within the Assassin's Creed franchise or just within other games, but I think that the characters were just fine. That was the first thing I wanted to get out of the way. Do I like this game? Yes, I do like this game. I know earlier in the series I had a few moments where I got angry with it, where I just was not having it. I think a lot of that was me being burned out by it, because I recorded this whole game within the span of a week pretty much. I put a lot of time into it, a lot of effort, and I think I was just mentally drained. There are things in this game that I do not like, and the game is kind of clumsy at certain points, but it doesn't make it a bad game. Every game has its kind of goofy moments, goofy things. It's hard for developers to release a game that comes out and is just perfect straight off the bat. So yeah, I did like this game. Other than how I personally feel about the game, what I really wanted to get into it was the narrative of the game. The narrative, you start off playing as Naue, and your dad dies, and you find out your dad's an assassin, and you start off over in this little area in here. I want to say it was actually Sakai was like the first like little city area, but you end up going after all of these people who are responsible for your father's death, and they're called the Shinbakufu. Um, I really didn't like hunting these guys down. It's not because I thought that, or it's not that I didn't like hunting them down. I didn't like the whole background behind it, because this is an Assassin's Creed game, and while yes, the Shinbakufu are kind of tied to the Templars, you really don't learn about any of that until towards the ending of the story. Now, I will give this game grace, because Midway through recording all this, I went around the whole entire map and I got all the viewpoints so I could fast travel everywhere. I didn't explore every inch of the map, and I also could have taken longer to do things that you could have done earlier in the game. That could have been on me, I don't know, but what I did think was good about the story was the last stretch of it. And that's kind of how I felt the last few Assassin's Creed games. It's felt like the last stretch of the last few games, like, is where everything builds up and, comes to a conclusion. I think this one did a good job. I wouldn't say I'm necessarily satisfied with the ending, um, because I think that it's kind of open-ended because they're going to do more through expansions. Because, like, if you watch my whole series or any series at all of this game and the finale of it, you end up killing this guy, and Yasuke declares war on the Templars. And this guy tells you that they're going to come after us, so it's either hinting towards maybe they'll do a sequel of this game or a follow-up. I doubt it, because they haven't done that. Well, I mean, I guess if you count Mirage as a follow-up to Valhalla, then yeah, they've done it within the past few years. But I strictly mean like what they did with Assassin's Creed 2, how they made Brotherhood and Revelations. I don't think they'll do that with this game. There's better characters that they have came up with, better stories that they could have done something like that with, and they haven't. Um, and I also don't think they like sticking to one particular setting for too long, so I don't think they'll do that. So I think that they will tell more of a story within DLC expansions to this game, which I will be covering when they come out. Maybe not exactly when they come out, but I will definitely get to it. But yeah, it felt like I just had to rush through all the Shinbaku to get to the good guts and glory of the game. That's honestly how it felt. And the ending, like I said, didn't make me necessarily satisfied because it makes you feel like there's more, which there probably will be. But all in all, the I would say Act 3 of the story probably carried it for me, kept me interested because you started learning about, you know, why your dad was killed by these people because they're kind of like a sub branch of the Templars. Um, you start learning, about your mom and her oath to the creed. You start, I guess, kind of looking for clues based off the assassins. You learn that Hattori Hanzo was responsible for what happened to your father, and I guess he's a part of the League now. They're actually unknown shinobi. I think that's Hattori Hanzo. It has to be. Um, but yeah, I mean, there's really not much else about this game that I need to say. The combat, it's an Assassin's Creed game. You really can't expect like the most grandest combat of all time. The combat to me was simple, and majority of the time I prefer simple combat games just so I can, play it laid back and not worried about it. Sometimes it can get repetitive, but the only thing I would say is that dying as Naue felt more realistic to me than, or I guess felt more, what's the word I want to use? It felt like it was going to happen more often than when I played as Yasuke. When I played as Yasuke, I felt like an absolute tank. Like, it didn't matter what I was hit with. I was just, you know, I don't even think I died as Yasuke the whole playthrough. I know I did a side mission where I was 1v1ing one of the warriors and he ended up defeating me, and then earlier in the series I obviously jumped off and raged and got mad at that viewpoint, but all in all in combat I don't think I've died as him. So I think that's something maybe I don't know. They could have done that on purpose. It was fun for me either way. Combat fun. The stealth, I I don't know. I don't know how I felt about the stealth in this game. I don't think I really caught a good grasp on it and on the mechanics until later on in the game. I think there's a lot of things, honestly, I didn't catch on to until later in the game. But as I did, I started kind of, you know, reflecting, and I've even said a few videos, like, any negative thing I've said, I have to eat my words because I wasn't, you know, I wasn't right, and I should have, like I wanted to from the beginning, should have waited to say anything before I gave my review on this game. All in all, this is the way that I have it chalked up, is that this game feels to me kind of like how Origins did. And it's kind of strange because the last few games before Assassin's Creed Origins came out, everyone wanted to crap on and say, you know, this is bad, there needs to be, you know, you guys need to go back to this and that. And then they made Origins, which was a huge change in mechanics and gameplay. And me personally, I loved it. I thought it was a really good step forward. There were things in Origins that definitely could have been polished to make it better. But the story with Origins and everything, I thought that game was a really good step forward for the franchise. Then they made Odyssey, and they kind of took it over the top, and Odyssey really didn't have much to do with the assassins overall in the story. And so I guess I wouldn't consider Odyssey a bad game, but I would take it, I would chalk it up to a step back. And then you have Valhalla, which was kind of the same thing, pretty much. I mean, the assassins were in it, but you don't play as an assassin, you play as a Viking. And so that felt like another step back from what me as a fan, I guess, and I would say I speak for some, but not for all, that was just a step back in general. And then they made Mirage, and Mirage was okay, but it just felt kind of like, it didn't feel like a complete ordeal. It was just like, okay, well, you could have done something bigger with this, but you chose not to because you wanted to make something smaller. And, which is fine and all. But anyways, it feels like this game took a few steps back towards where I think that this game franchise needs to go. I think there's a lot on this game that can be built upon. You know, like I said, I don't think they'll do a direct sequel or follow-up to this, but I think if they kept this formula, you know, because they dumbed it back down a little bit, watered it down, I think it'd be okay. The only thing I really want to see from them when they make a new Assassin's Creed game is, for the love of God, make it an Assassin's Creed story about the Brotherhood hunting the Templars, or even make a game like Rogue where you're playing as a Templar and you're going after assassins, because that would be something different, because they haven't done that with this new gameplay or anything like that. And you know, it would just, I think it would be okay. So, but yeah, those are my overall thoughts. I liked the game. The story was enjoyable in the start, and then it kind of was falling off, and then picked back up in the end, at least for me. Gameplay-wise, it was fine. I don't really have a huge issue with any of the gameplay elements. I think a lot of it was just me. Um, but yeah, it was a good game. I wouldn't say, or I would say that I like it. I wouldn't say it's the exact cup of tea that I would reach for, but I mean, any complaints that I've said before in the series or anything like that, I mean, I was mad, and when I get irritated and upset, I say things just off the top of my head, and I apologize. Didn't mean any of that. This is, you know, with a clear head, this is my thought process of this game. So, but yeah, other than that, I know in the final part I didn't thank you guys like I usually do at the end of my series, but for anyone who just happened to watch one video, even if it's this video, thank you for joining me throughout this whole entire experience, I guess. I am going to New Game Plus this when it comes out. I don't think I'm going to record it. There's no need for that. I just want to kind of play it by myself without the stress of recording or anything like that and see what happens. But I appreciate if you guys watch the whole series, or if you even watched one episode, or if you even just clicked on the video. I appreciate it. I will be doing a marathon of the Assassin's Creed games after this. I'm going to get this series uploaded, then I'll start. I don't know which game I'm going to start with yet. I know I'm not going to really do them in order. So if you guys, want to watch them in order, look up a timeline, and then you can just follow my playlist whenever I have them up. But again, just thank you for any and all support. I appreciate it. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed watching this whole entire series. I enjoyed recording it, even though at times I didn't. The overall final product of it is that I did, and so I'm grateful for that and grateful for any support. But that is my review, so I'm going to go ahead and cut it off here. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed watching this, and if you are watching this, I greatly appreciate it. Other than that, whenever you're watching this, I hope you have a fantastic day, and I hope to catch you guys in whatever series comes next. Later.